Have you ever looked up at a power line and wondered why birds seem to love sitting there? Sometimes it's just one bird, sometimes it's dozens, and occasionally entire lines are packed with birds, sitting shoulder to shoulder as if they've all agreed to meet in the exact same place. Most people notice the birds, but almost everyone asks the same question. Why don't they get electrocuted? After all, those wires carry enough electricity to power homes, businesses, entire neighborhoods, even entire cities. One wrong touch seems like it should be instantly fatal. Yet birds land there every day without any apparent concern. The answer is far more fascinating than most people realize. And once you understand what's really happening on those wires, you'll discover that birds are not just avoiding danger. In many cases, power lines have become one of the most useful tools in their daily lives. Let's start with the mystery everyone wants answered. Why don't birds get electrocuted? The short answer is simple. Because electricity is lazy. Electricity always looks for the easiest path to travel. When a bird lands on a single power line, both of its feet are touching the exact same wire. That means both feet are at the same electrical potential. There is nowhere for the electricity to go. No current flows through the bird's body. And without current moving through the body, there is no shock. Think of it like standing on a level floor. There is no reason for anything to move from one side to the other. Everything is already balanced. The bird simply becomes part of the wire. Of course, birds are not completely immune to electricity. If a bird touches two wires at the same time, everything changes. Now, there is a difference in electrical potential. Electricity suddenly has a pathway, and that pathway can pass directly through the bird. The same thing can happen if a large bird touches a wire and a grounded object simultaneously, such as a metal pole or transformer. This is why larger birds, like eagles and hawks, face greater risks than smaller songbirds. Their wingspans are much larger. They are more likely to accidentally bridge gaps between electrical components. Utility companies around the world spend significant time designing equipment that reduces these risks, not only to protect infrastructure, but also to protect wildlife. Now comes the more interesting question. The answer is surprisingly practical. Power lines offer advantages that are difficult to find elsewhere. For many birds, they function like elevated observation towers. From up there, a bird can see predators approaching from far away. Cats, foxes, snakes, even other birds. A higher viewpoint increases survival, and survival is always the priority. Imagine you're a small bird. Every day is filled with potential dangers. You need to find food, avoid predators, watch the weather, monitor competitors, and somehow stay alive. A power line gives you a panoramic view of everything around you. Instead of hiding deep inside vegetation where visibility is limited, birds can scan huge areas at once. This is especially useful for species that hunt insects. From a power line, they can spot movement in fields, roadsides, gardens, and open spaces. The wire becomes a convenient launching platform. Another reason birds use power lines is efficiency. Flying requires an enormous amount of energy, more than most people realize. Every unnecessary movement costs calories. A bird that finds a good perch can rest while remaining alert. Power lines are often perfectly positioned. They stretch across open spaces and provide stable places to land. Instead of constantly circling or searching for branches, birds can simply sit and conserve energy. Over time, these small energy savings add up. And in nature, efficiency often means survival. One bird on a wire is common, but what about 50 or 100? Why do birds sometimes gather in huge groups? There are several reasons. Safety is one of the biggest. A lone bird is vulnerable. A flock is much harder for predators to attack. When dozens of birds are watching at once, danger is detected more quickly. Scientists sometimes call this the many eyes effect. Every bird benefits from the awareness of the group. More eyes mean fewer surprises. Power lines also function as gathering places. For many species, they are social hubs. Birds communicate constantly. They share information. They establish territory. They find mates. They observe each other's behavior. To us, a line full of birds may look random. To them, it can be an important meeting place, especially during migration seasons. Thousands of birds travel vast distances every year. Before continuing their journey, many species temporarily gather on power lines to rest, regroup, and coordinate movement. It's almost like an airport waiting area in the sky. Not every bird sitting on a wire is resting. Some are hunting. Take swallows, for example. These agile birds often use power lines as launch points. They sit, watch, and wait. The moment an insect flies past, they take off at incredible speed. Within seconds, they're back on the wire again. The strategy is remarkably efficient. The bird expends very little energy while maximizing opportunities to catch food. Other species use similar tactics. A simple wire becomes a highly effective hunting platform. There is another reason birds increasingly use power lines. In many places, natural perches are disappearing. Urban development removes trees. Open grasslands become roads. Natural habitats shrink. But power lines remain. For some birds, they have become substitutes for the branches their ancestors once used. This doesn't mean power lines are better than natural habitats. Far from it. But birds are incredibly adaptable. They often take advantage of whatever opportunities are available, and power lines happen to offer many of the same benefits as tree branches. Interestingly, not all birds use power lines. Forest species often prefer dense vegetation. Owls typically choose more concealed locations. Woodpeckers rely on trees. Some birds simply evolved in environments where wires offer little advantage. Their behavior reflects the habitats they know best. This is a reminder that there is no single strategy in nature. Different species solve survival challenges in different ways. The next time you see birds sitting on a power line, you'll know there's much more happening than meets the eye. Those birds are not casually resting on dangerous wires. They're using carefully chosen observation posts. They're conserving energy, watching for predators, looking for food, communicating with one another, preparing for migration, or simply taking advantage of one of the most useful structures humans have unintentionally provided. And as for the electricity, the reason they don't get shocked comes down to a surprisingly elegant rule of physics. Electricity only flows when it has somewhere to go. As long as a bird remains on a single wire, there is no path through its body, no current, no shock, just another perch in a world full of challenges. It's one of those everyday mysteries hiding in plain sight. A simple question, a fascinating answer, and proof that even something as ordinary as a bird sitting on a wire can reveal just how clever nature really is.